What is up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Metal Time Radio podcast with the new episode of Cinematic Synergy. Here with my co-host, good friend Kevin Lambert of the Entertainment Headquarters, and we are joined today by some other great fellows: Jedi Granville, The Blank Chair, and Anthony Jordan from Movies and Gaming. Thank you all for being here.
I was gonna say he's the invisible man here. I was like, okay.
Big Bad Wolf, I bring him into things and this is what I get. This is what I get when I bring this fucker down here into this shit. He just disappears miraculously from my stream.
At least he had his shirt on this time.
Yes, yeah. He just doesn't just pop in out of nowhere.
If you smell the cat was putting out, you rush trying to find something to spray in this room too.
Oh my goodness.
The fans, the audience cannot smell your cat, so it would not have me. You would have had to persevere.
Yeah, his cat just is so random. Like, it will jump up behind him, it will start clawing at him, it will fuck with his cords, it will beat up on the carpet.
She won't screw my cords.
Oh, I thought she plays with them sometimes, but
I know Logan has. Logan once we were on a stream and I went off because he started playing with the cord at the side of the computer.
But anyway, we are here because if you don't know this show, Kevin and I, we take alternate picks once every month, and we'll just rotate what we decide to watch. It can be a movie past, present, or future. This time I chose 1997's The Relic. And, I was actually really pleasantly surprised that some of the other guys wanted to join in and review this, because this is what I would call like a very underrated film. And before I do that, I just want to go out and say thank you, Jedi, for being here. Big Wild Wolf as well, Anthony Jordan again, and of course my co-host Kevin for being here. So to break it down, The Relic is a 1997 American monster horror film directed by Peter Hyams and based on the best-selling 1995 novel Relic by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. The film stars Penelope Ann Miller, Tom Sizemore, Linda Hunt, James Whitmore, and Brian Steele in his feature film debut. In the film, a detective and a biologist try to defeat a South American monstrous reptilian creature which is on the killing spree in the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago. So when you guys go to G-Fest, go look up this creature, make sure it's not there.
Fun fact, the book is actually a series of books.
Oh, okay.
Really? I didn't know that.
So before we dive in, let's go around first, and Kevin, we'll start with you. When was the first time you saw this, and what was your thoughts then?
So I cannot remember exactly when I seen the film, like the year. I do remember very clearly when this film was coming out. I remember seeing the advertisement on the television, every so often it would just jump out at the screen, The Relic coming to cinema soon. And obviously being a kaiju fan, being a dinosaur fan, being a monster fan, and maybe was gravitated towards it and thought, well, this is unique and different because it's not just a stereotypical monster film. There's a really interesting plot behind it, and it's set in this location, which is, like you said, the Natural History Museum of Chicago. And so never seen anything of it since the advertisement. And then one day, I think I found it on television late night, and I watched it, and I was not disappointed. I thought it was. I didn't quite know what to expect for it because back then there was no social media, there was no spoilers, there was no internet to check things out. You just went into movies blind. So going into it back then, thoroughly was entertained.
Jedi.
Well, I actually got a chance to see this in its first, its original run back in '97, and me and my white brother went to go see it, and didn't know what to think about it because I know the teaser trailer for this film was very unique because, in a sense, it doesn't give anything away except the narrator saying at the very end, and it's focused on this box, saying the one mistake they did make, they brought it back, and then all of a sudden the glass just breaking the fourth wall, and it says the Relic. So we went to go see it, and it's kind of weird because you get the sense of there's a monster here, true enough, but it's almost like a detective story a little bit, mixed in all that, and you really don't know where it's going to, but when you get to the very end, it's like, oh wow, that's how and then when you find out when you find out what this thing is, it's like, oh wow, I didn't realize that. You had an idea, but you didn't know for sure. So and like I said, kind of like Kevin, I mean, I wasn't disappointed. I wish I could say it was a little longer, in my opinion, but that's just me, though.
Big Bad Wolf.
So my first time hearing of this was, it was either Matt, Alvin, Anthony, or Kevin that shared a picture of the creature in the group chat. It was like this new figure of the creature that came out. I'm like, I was immediately drawn just by the creature's design. And I was like, what the heck is this? And so I mentioned, oh, it's the creature from the film The Relic. And I'm like, where can I go? I'm like, what did they say? Where can I go see it? And at that point, they said Pluto. And I'm like, well, at that point, I still thought Pluto, you needed money to even have a Pluto account. So I'm like, well, we have to find some other way. And then finally, a couple of weeks ago, I finally got a hold of you guys because I'm like, where can I go to see this film? Because I can't find a Tubi. You mentioned Pluto. I'm like, and you also happen to state, hey, Pluto, you don't need an account. And I'm like, perfect. And I immediately went and watched it. And again, I thought going in blind for the first time watching this film, not knowing what to expect, it was a very decent film. Again, the main thing that I enjoyed was just the creature itself. Mm-hmm. And I was just blown away by how it absorbed many traits of different other organisms, which of course we'll go over that as we talk about this film story.
Yeah. Anthony.
Oh, I would have been 11 years old. There was a video store, and we didn't have cable at the time, so it was just whatever was on TV or a lot of movies. And there was a local video rental place that had 5 movies for $5 for 5 days. And The Relic had just come off of the new releases and had been eligible for the 5 for 5. And my mom grabbed it, and I loved it. I was blown away by it. And there was like a long stretch where after the 5 days were up, we would always rent 5 more movies, and I would like re-rent The Relic. So I just kept re-renting it. I must have had the movie for like 2-3 months without actually permanently returning it.
Yeah, for me, I was kind of like Walter. I saw this in theaters during its first run, and I think it was kind of interesting because during the 96 to 98 years, I kind of found myself in the theaters a lot more than for horror films because you had this, you had Mimic, you had Event Horizon. So there was like this big run of like horror films that were just kind of coming out, and it was really very interesting because each one of them were very different and very interesting and plot wise and all that.
You also had Species as well. Species, I think, come out that time.
Yeah.
So it's like interesting alien / creature feature horror, films came out or had their run.
And because they were genetically engineered, you can kind of fit Deep Blue Sea into the category.
True.
A little bit, yeah. You could.
Yeah, the big thing that threw me off, too, was when I first heard the film The Relic, and I saw the creature, I thought it was going to be a dark fantasy horror film. And so, to my surprise, seeing it take place in Preston, I'm like, what the... Because I got so confused. I was expecting a dark fantasy.
Well, that's one of the things that makes the film very impressive, that it just stays at one location pretty much. Like after it leaves like the early part of the movie, it goes right into the museum, and that's where we're stuck for the entire movie, which is amazing that you can actually just take one location, keep it interesting, keep it eerie, and still have like this thing wandering around, killing people and whatnot. But why don't we go ahead and let's hit Anthony start us off with how the movie starts out and what it's all about.
Well, it's got a very strong beginning because we begin with this tribal ritual. We see this witch doctor take these leaves with something on it and put them in a pot of boiling water, and it's given to this man to drink. And after he drinks it, we have someone walk up dressed as a creature, and it's like he starts tripping out. You're thinking like, okay, this is some kind of drug trip. In the next scene we see him, he's freaking out because they packed these leaves on a ship, and he's like, you don't understand, you gotta open them, I need them. And the guy's like, the captain's like, I can't, they're sealed, they can't be opened until the port of entry. We get the title scene, and then so just strong, a lot of intrigue. What did he take, and why is it so important he has to keep taking, that he needs these leaves? And then time we see this ship, it's been towed in. It was found adrift with everyone dead, and we get introduced to Tom Sizemore's character, who's in a bad mood because he just lost his dog in a divorce, and it's a running joke throughout the movie. Like at one point you even hear, what's the matter, were you late on your Alpo payments? But they do the investigation, and they find this hatch opened, and all the dead bodies were thrown in there because they were thinking, oh, this is for drugs. They came in, cleaned everything out, got what they needed, and left, and like the bodies are just ripped to complete shreds. And that's just a very strong opening couple of scenes that not only sets up a good mystery as to what's going on, but in a few minutes it just gives you the tone of what this movie's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting with the beginning with the tribe, and they hand John Whitney this like bowl of soup type thing, and it's got almost like a serpent in a rainbow vibe too, because I'm thinking of like voodoo and stuff like that. But obviously they sort of like worship this thing called Kothoga, and so you don't really know if they're like with ill intention, as like we said, there's this fungus on the leaves, which they're very aware of, by matter of factly, so they're very aware of what they're using in their product and their, soups and stuff like that they create over there. So it's very interesting how it starts out. And as you said, the ship comes into port and no one's left alive.
When I first watched the beginning and it went straight to when we finally got to Chicago, even the ship port, I'm like, wait, I probably watched that beginning scene like 2 or 3 times because I'm like, knowing these kinds of films, there's a detail that I'm probably gonna miss within this beginning that's gonna play a role later on in the film. So I had to go back and watch it 3 times. And I'm like, there was something in there that I'm gonna miss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do have to kind of pay attention a little bit. So, but it's not super confusing. Put it that way. Kevin, go ahead. Keep us going.
So after they arrive, the ship's arrived and the police have found like the remains, the dead bodies and stuff like that. It then jumps to a week later to the museum where you have the lead, she's a biologist.
Yep.
And she's like, and she is played by Penelope Ann Miller is the name of the actress who plays her, who I've only seen her in a handful of things, I think, beyond the Relic. I kind of picture
I think the only one I saw her in was Kindergarten Cop with Schwarzenegger.
Kindergarten, yeah. But she plays Margot Green, who's the museum's evolutionary biologist. And basically, as the film progresses, you've got them 2 little kids that are like wandering around who, they should be at school or whatever, they're messing about. They go into the museum, she goes in, and then she finds out that she's been trying to get this grant to continue with her research. Mm-hmm. And then you have her mortal enemy, who I cannot stand.
Yeah,
Greg.
Yeah, he's a real dickhead.
Yeah, so he's played by Chai Miu-Lo, and Greg Lee, he's an ambitious museum scientist, and basically you can just tell he's like this sleazy little prick of a man. And suddenly, she's talking to, Linda Hunt, by the way, I love Linda Hunt. Mm-hmm. She's an amazing actress. And Linda Hunt's like the curator, you know, if the museum. He's just trying to talk to her about, you know, how come he's always getting these grants, and you know, if I don't get this grant, I'm gonna have to shut your research down. All the people I employ are gonna be, you know, made unemployed. And suddenly this is where she starts, you know, the crates have arrived from where what you call him, John Wheatley had been doing his archaeologically, you know, trip to, and they then start going these gigantic leaves. And the leaves, obviously, they've got like these little things on which it assumes are eggs. So
Yeah.
she takes one of them with the egg,
Organisms.
and she goes to like obviously research it and all of this. And this during that time, this is where you get your first kill in the museum.
Mhm.
So later that night, the museum's locking down, and obviously, one thing I loved about this film is like you said, Anubis, it's great how they were able to keep this film in one location for the whole course of the movie. But the one thing I generally liked about it is that when it's open through the day, it looks very pleasant. It looks like what you expect the museum to do. But when it's locked down and it's nighttime and the lights go down and you see all like the skeletons in the background and you see like all like the stone sculptures, it looks scary as fuck. It looks creepy.
It looks gothic.
This
Yes.
film uses darkness really well.
Oh
Mhm.
God, yeah.
And obviously, Greg's doing this, you know, this new display. It's like going to be the grand opening in a few days of this new, like, mysterious, you know, exhibition. And even the exhibition, the entryway to the exhibition looks scary. It's like that giant walkway that looks like some sort of made up skull type structure, and it looks creepy as hell. Which is obviously, if you look at some of the poster and the promotional material of the movie, they used the entranceway of that exhibition as part of the promotion for the film. And obviously, this is where you get to the bathroom, and you've got this guard who's meant to be like a really nice guy, but he says,
He just
"Guess
wanted
what?
to
I'm-"
smoke a joint, man. That's all. He
Yeah,
wanted to do.
exactly.
Yeah, he decides, "Guess what?
Pass,
I'm
homie.
gonna go smoke a joint in the toilet," and he's acting nice. Then you just hear what you assume like footsteps, or you can hear like a presence walking towards the bathroom stall, and you hear like that breathing sound, like that noise, and the next thing you know, you hear the roar, and you just see him get dragged underneath the cubicle, and you just hear the crunch.
Mhm.
And then obviously it's then reported that there's been a murder in the museum.
Yeah, all those people come in. I want to point out too. I mean, something Anthony brought up. You know, they use light and shadow in this film very well. But I should mention that the director Peter Hyams, he's a very skilled cinematographer. So he knows things about lighting things and everything. He's been doing it for like a good 20, 30 years. So him being, because he's written and directed at the same time, but photographed many things too. So him able to capture certain things in this film without having to like do a lot of escapade or anything like that, it really captures the texture of this film very well. Because there's moments where it's like, this is like it's a museum, but it's like, wow, you know, it's like that. It wasn't like that before when we saw it in the daytime. Now it's like, okay, I don't think I want to go there.
Now that you mentioned that he's done photography too, so many things in this movie, you can just pause at so many random points. And even if it's just something more mundane, the way it's framed, it just makes a great like still image.
And the director also just did another film I like, and he's got the similar way of his cinematography with that, with color shades of light, and it helped build the atmosphere. End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, yes, that's right.
Yes, so Peter Hyams did End of Days as well.
Yes.
That makes sense because I kind of see some of that in there.
Yeah, like some of the cinematography, how we had shades of light, especially like the church scenes and stuff like that. You can see it, and like you mentioned, because he's a photographer, he has that way with an angle of a camera. He knows like how to get the right angle for lighting or darkness or dullness.
Which makes sense because, like I say, it's thing about cinematographers and directors. They're supposed to be like joined at the hip in capturing the look of a picture pretty well. But sometimes they don't gel very well. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes they are on key, they're on point, but others have been like, okay, I don't think you're getting what I'm talking about. This is not what I want. Peter Hyams is a double-edged sword. He is his and best, example of directing something, but able to capture it the way he feels fit. And like when you mentioned End of Days, like, yeah, I could definitely see a lot of that taking place because this came out 2 years before that film, so it actually makes sense that he would.
I didn't realize he was the director who did 2010, the year we made Contact, the sequel to.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
He treats it's like he treats every frame like it's a work of art.
He does. I've noticed that. Because if you guys have ever seen Capricorn 1, it's another example of just, and it's mostly in the daytime, but if you watch it, it's like, it's funny how he captured, this is a 70s film, so it's pretty something different for him, but it's something that he keeps to himself, trying to capture things with the shadows, and it's basically a mystery thriller. But when you watch it, it's like, oh wow, this is how he's capturing these things. So
1977 that came out.
Yeah, I find it very interesting that this, because as the story goes along, we find out this Quathaga creature is, wandering around. It initially was drawn by the hormones in the plants that were along with it on the trip. So when our female lead, Ann Miller's character, like burns most of them, it kind of takes it away, so it doesn't have anything to feed on. So then it changes until it's after human beings, hypothalami. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Hypothalamus.
It was
an organ within the brain.
They were burning the leaves for safety because they didn't know what was on them, and she got permission to analyze a couple of them.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder. I don't know if you guys see it, but we find out what this thing is kind of a mixture of different things.
Yeah.
And it makes me kind of think, is this kind of like because the book is based on a book, but could it be like somewhat of a homage to John Carpenter's The Thing, which is an amalgamate of different things?
I don't think so. I think it was just more mythology with actual chimeras.
Yeah, because they pretty much were inspired by the chimera creature, and they decided to try to expand that chimera aspect further. The concept of a chimera.
Yeah,
it's not just a mythological creature; it's pretty much a combination of several living creatures into one being.
that makes sense.
Well, go ahead and Walter, pick us up from there, just basically where, after they've discovered the mutate, because there is a point where Margot finds out about, because she has a plant, a piece of the leaf, and she throws it in the trash, and there's like a little beetle on it.
Well, that's the thing. It the beetle kind of gets infected, and before long, it's like it turns into some acidic or kind of like dangerous creature. It's like, what the fuck is this? What the hell is happening? So she actually takes part of that leaf and actually analyzes what's in there, put it in. And the funny thing is, it shows it is a manifestation of different things, like I think like a tiger or a lion, different other things. But then it pops up, and this is where it shows the Invisible Man portrait, saying that it's made out of something human, and it doesn't give the identity of this thing. We don't know what that is, and we're kind of left kind of wondering like, what is this? But you kind of have an idea, but you don't want to say.
Yeah, as soon as it popped up that it had human DNA, I knew exactly who it was.
So at this point, it's like it's just this, and this is. And the funny thing is, this is during the time before they're supposed to have this big gala by the guy who made this up for the opening.
Greg.
Yeah, Greg had this big opening.
Greg the knob.
Yeah, basically that he's supposed to, let's put it like this. He's trying to show his manhood size and be all flamboyant and everything. But as we soon find out, this is going to be a horrific disaster because he's opening this to certain. I mean, I think the mayor was there. Different individuals.
Very much Jaws vibes there with the mayor.
Basically, and we're going to find out that soon everyone is going to be in a very, very bad state. And that's kind of funny how this is all taking place in one state. It's taking place in one place, the museum, and it is a big museum. I've never been there before. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a real one in Chicago, but I've never been there. But the way they show it, it's like there's so many places in here. And this thing is, I'm not for sure the size of this thing, but it's pretty big. It's a big ass, monstrosity, but yeah, exactly.
I like to think it's probably around this. I think that thing had to be around on all fours. I think around maybe 6 feet tall because it was able to look Dr. Margot in the eyes.
Yeah.
Just by being on all fours. So it's definitely probably around 6 feet.
Well, 6 feet on four appendages, but when it's on its hinds, it's way bigger than that. But basically, like I say, they have this gala, everything's going well, and then things go to shit. Oh God, does it go to shit because someone gets killed, and dude, there's a moment here. And the thing about it is, this creature only attacks people and decapitates them, but it's getting a certain element from, the
spinal
spinal area and everything. But that's the thing about this moment. It's like you see that, and that's all it's doing. But when they send in SWAT to try to rescue people, you see. Go ahead, Anthony.
Can we take a moment to acknowledge the sheer genius of the smartest man in this movie? When those foot-thick steel doors are closing, he shoves a flimsy wooden chair underneath it to hold it up.
One of the biggest tropes you'll ever see in films, and it's like, it might work, you never know. But one of the kills, and see, that's the funny thing is, there are like somewhat minimal kills in here. But the one kill that I have to address that seems like you wouldn't think it would happen is when one of the guys, kind of like falls through the skyline, and falls in, and you see the actually go up the Kuthoga actually walk up the wall like it's a fly or spider.
It's a gecko.
Yeah, because it's like gecko DNA.
I love the special effects where obviously the chaos is starting to run wild, and it's the last. I love how it was like I definitely believe that the museum scenes in the Relic inspired the museum scenes or the mansion scenes in Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom.
I can see that.
Probably.
It reminds me a lot of the scene from the Meg when the Meg attacks the beach. Everybody's running wild. There's that guy in that stupid gyrophone, and he's running everybody over. Everybody else.
So obviously the sprinkler system's exploded and there's water splashing everywhere. You've got the guys that are coming down from the roof.
Yeah,
the squat team, and you have the creatures like on a giant fossil at its feet. You see this scene where it runs after someone, catches it, and it just bites his head off clean off. Yeah. And then you see the squat guy going, pull me back up.
Yes.
And then it just climbs up the wall, and then as they're pulling him up, he's like He's like that, and when they pull him out, he's just been completely bitten off.
Mhm.
Which is interesting because that similar scene was used in Lake Placid like a year later from the opening scene of that, where the diver was bitten in half by the crocodile.
Also, you've seen a very similar scene in the first Alligator.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
True. Say.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite scenes in it too. Like the SWAT officer, like that they go into the skylights and they're Billy badass and he sees what they're dealing with and he's like, "All right, pull me up, gotta go," and they can't quite get him out fast enough.
He's like, the job description didn't mention anything about this.
This is a
Yeah.
A grade.
Well, they think they're doing something, but it's like, I didn't sign up for this. It's like, no, get me the hell out of here. You know?
That reminds me of a story a guy I used to work with when he was a lineman in Mexico. He mentioned a time where these Mexican military guys, there was just two guys, one guy on the 50 cal gunner, going through this town trying to take care of these cartel members. He said they're literally running through like Billy badasses, and a few minutes later, they're literally getting the heck out of Dodge, and that whole army of cartel members just storming after them.
Let's be real. These SWAT team, they were probably just told there were terrorists in the museum. So they're going in expecting we'll shoot a couple human beings and we'll be done. They didn't expect this creature that stands 6 foot tall on all fours to come bursting through after them. Like, I don't care if you're a Navy SEAL. If you see that, you're going to nope out.
It kind of real quick. It was kind of funny because I was thinking about this earlier. It's like, you remember the scene of the SWAT team trying to get into Nakatomi Plaza in Die Hard. It's like you see this one guy. He's going through the rose bushes and he gets stung by one of the rose bushes. I'm like, okay, y'all are supposed to be these trained badasses, but yet y'all are getting your ass kicked by a fucking tree branch. I'm like, what the? I don't get it. It's like it's.
Well, I think it adds so much realism because it shows like even though they're trained to do this dangerous job, the moment they're encountering something a situation that they've never been trained for, they're just gonna get out of Dodge. So they're like, listen, I did not sign up to deal with this. That is someone else's problem.
Well, that makes sense, but back to Walter's point about Die Hard, like that was more of like to kind of show just how soft LA is in terms of everything. Like even when the media shows up in that movie, they're like all trying to get poses on the camera. Like rather than worry about what the task at hand is, they're all just out in their own world. But the one thing I really like about this creature is that it retains the intelligence of the different types of things that are involved in its DNA. So it has like human intelligence. So it's very smart. And I find that very fascinating about the Kothaga. And I think that plays a part in how it was able to kind of like, not that it really would have been hurt by the SWAT team, but it just kind of like outmaneuvered them, and going up the wall was something they did not expect at the time that it happened. So
even physically, they used traits of the various bits of DNA that made it up, because you can even see like the human intelligence behind its eyes.
There were moments where it literally outsmarted the main characters, like the moment where it was Tom Sizemore character. He's like, get these people, put them in the tunnel. Eventually, that thing, as soon as it got done dealing with the SWAT, it knew, hey, they're going through this way. I can just follow them from behind. They won't expect me to follow them.
Right.
And that's the thing, too, because like even when I forget the name of the character that's in the wheelchair, the older guy, he realizes.
Dr. Albert Frock?
Yeah, he realizes that, like, John Whitney is the Kothaga. So, like, you have that scene where he's inside that caged area and the Kothaga's walking up and they just meet eye to eye. Like, but he's smiling. Like, he knows he's dead, but he smiles because he knows that that's, like, his former colleague or whatever that's actually this creature.
I took it as, like, the smile is more like, even though he knows he's dead, just the scientist in him getting to see a scientific impossibility up close and personal.
Being able to see something of a different court of people he literally studied on. Because he was because throughout the film, I mean, I forget her name, Margot. She is not a skeptic. She's very skeptic, whereas Dr. Frock is like, he is very speculative, like Tom Sizemore is. Like
He's very superstitious.
Yeah, like even the detective believed in luck, and like because we see his OCD is like, don't step over a dead body, don't interrupt this, that's bad luck. Where she's like, oh please, what's gonna happen? And so for him to see that, it's like he was thinking it to himself, as if he's saying "told you so" inside his mind to Dr. Margaret, no, she's nowhere near him.
Even kind of get that like sense of, even though we never get to know Whitney as a character, you get that kind of superstition versus science conflict, because his area of expertise was studying mythology, and like you get the sense that it wasn't a very respected area of study at the museum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which again, it also, one thing that you kind of learn is that, despite his curiosity, he when he went to the tribe is very protective of their own secrets. And so I'm pretty sure that they gave him that soup as a way to close out the outside world. Like they were going to make sure that he didn't survive to tell the tale of what goes on, because he was taking pictures of their ritual dances and stuff like that at the beginning. So they were clearly protecting what was theirs within the tribe, and they're like,
and to make sure everyone got the idea, they then sent that creature out to make sure no one else thought, you know what, let's send someone else out there just to make sure something didn't happen to John.
Maybe we should touch up on what that like concoction was, that they would, when they were at war with another tribe, they would select someone, give it to him, go into hiding. Then it would kill the people and feed on the hypothalamus because it needs that hormone. And because they would have been in hiding and couldn't find it, the creature would just starve to death and they'd come back out of hiding.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I'm kind of wondering, I mean, y'all probably know the name of the film. I'm trying to remember. It takes place in South America also, where these outsiders, these, Americans, college kids probably, they go to this temple, and if anyone touches these weeds, it's like, y'all are pretty much dead. Y'all are not going to make it out of here. It almost reminds me a little bit of that. It's like they keep these people at bay because these vegetation pretty much feeds or consumes human DNA.
I think that movie's called The Ruins.
The Ruins, yes. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that. Kind of brings that up a little bit because, they're trying to keep outsiders from coming in. But the second you involve yourself with these things, like, no, you're not leaving here because you're going to infect others, And then when you saw that one moment where a guy of the tribe getting touched by one of the weeds, it's like, no, you got to go too. You got to die also. It's like, that's effective right there.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get a Big Bad Wolf to pick us up after the SWAT team is obliterated.
Yeah. So after the SWAT team got obliterated, I think Tom sent. So as they were getting obliterated, Tom sent I forget the name of his assistant. Well, not assistant. It was like his lackey, the officer that was helping out. His what?
His partner.
His partner.
If you want to say,
well, his partner. He said, "Hey, please get these people out through the sewers because there was a path that they can go into that gets them to safety to where they need to go." And as that's going on, we see what happens to Ned. What did Kevin call him? Ned the Snub or something. Well, anyhow, Ned sees what happens to, I guess, it was the people who he was trying to buddy up with to get this grant.
Are you talking about Greg Lee?
Yeah, and he watched them get killed. He was like, well, time to make my exit, and that creature was already waiting for him, and it just killed him.
I like that scene because it shows how slimy he is. He leaves everyone else to die.
He's like the Berg from Aliens. He's totally that good.
His was definitely, besides Berg, his was definitely one of the most satisfying villain deaths because this movie made you out to hate his guts. So to see him finally get what was coming to him, you're like, it's like, you know what, buddy, you freaking deserve that, you slimy scoundrel.
I don't think that's by accident. I think that's totally by design.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I feel bad for the creature having to eat his brain.
I like the scene where he runs away from everybody, and then he's like looking at the reflection of like the glass of the and you just see it behind him, and you just know he's gonna. I just wish you got to see more.
Yeah, I wish you could see like his actual facial expression.
Yeah, or just see his head go pop.
Or just heard a scream in the dark.
I think at that point, that's when Margot was in her office, still trying to do her research, trying to figure out more about this creature, and that's when we find out it's John Whitney, and and because you see the look on her face when she goes, "Oh my gosh, it's John Whitney." That's what this creature is, which I think that's what happens right after the other doctor gets killed, and that's when she was trying to get in touch with Tom Sizemore's character, because he ran through the sewers himself with her, trying to get to the people, because unfortunately, as we explained earlier, the creature happened to figure out where everybody was going and followed them, where the other officer got killed and a couple of others.
Yeah.
And which was unfortunate, but the rest made it to safety. So Tom got locked out, and Margot's over there just trying to get all the information needed to figure out to defeat this thing. And she's destroying all of the research, breaking all the chemical glasses, destroying everything so when the creature shows up. It seems like at one point she was trying to reason with her, thinking there was still some human side in it left.
Yeah, that moment where it's face to face. Yeah.
And she goes, I know who you are.
Recognize her. So.
Well, I'm going to say it recognizes her, and so like a part of John Whitley is still in there somehow, and it's because it recognizes her and it hesitates. That's how she's able to like help distract it enough for them to defeat it.
Yeah, because I think at that point she took advantage and lit the match and took off running.
Which I have to say, this is you guys already know how I feel about good explosions. This was by far, and it was well, and I have to say it was well done, because you have a physical set being set ablaze, but at the same time you have this CG animal being chasing Margot's character through the lab and just breaking everything, but still on fire. And the main fire hasn't hit. I mean, the main concussion hasn't hit the creature yet, and she's able to get to safety by jumping into this. I guess
they showed earlier the macerating chamber. They showed earlier that they boil the carcasses to get the bones off of.
Well, as you say, when there's an explosion that's going, I mean, it's rolling. It's coming right at, as the thing closes, she pretty much tells him, like, go to hell, And the thing is, like, trying to get on top of it, and then all of a sudden, bam, it just, like, blows.
It literally bursts into flames.
What I love is just how she just thought on her feet like that, and she's just opening the thing and letting these chemicals fall over. Then she grabs one chemical, puts it in a jar with another chemical, then adds the powder. And when she sees the creature, she just throws it.
Yes.
Yeah, she just took off running and hid in that chamber in which the creature exploded.
I'm just surprised, but I guess you have to take artistic license with this. She's running very well in heels. It's like I don't care. I don't care if you're a woman or whatever. Ain't no way a woman's running in heels, okay?
I'm going to go back to Jurassic World. Look at Claire in the first one where she runs from the T-Rex. That should have chewed her ass up.
Yeah. No.
So another inspiration too from the Relic.
And if you see the behind the scenes, you know that she wasn't wearing no heels, but that's how we see it in the final one.
You know what's so funny about that too is that we watch films all the time, and sometimes we don't really care too much, or we don't really pay a lot of attention. But that's something I think that everybody pays attention to, because women, it's already remarkable they can walk in heels and high stilettos and shit, but to try to run, it's just almost impossible. And so, like,
Yes, you're gonna trip
I would have
over
been
those
more.
things.
I would have been more. I don't know. It's a detail where I've been like, dude, I'm going to have you run away from this thing. I'm going to have you throw your heels away because you're going to be better in your bare feet than you are in heels. It would just make more sense. I mean, I know it's kind of nitpicky, but when it's guys, it might be in like boots, right? But with guys, it's a little easier in boots than it is in high heels. Like, I don't know. It is one of those things that's weird that I kind of get nitpicky about because, like, yeah, women can
our fellow SWAT officers and military have to be trained to run in boots, so it's not that big of a deal.
Right, and you're not going to notice it as much, but for women, it's like I can notice that, and it's just,
it's like because those stupid high heels, one wrong step and you're tripping over those things.
I mean,
I have to ask Kevin, like, because I just found this actually looking around, and I might actually even get it, but apparently they have one of these little thingies.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that would be nice to have.
That is a beautiful figure.
Dude, yes.
Very cool. Is that
I didn't know they made one of these,
created?
but that is pretty sweet.
Is it a model kit or pre?
That one they said was pre-built, and I think
nice.
I forget the site. It's called Monster something, but they have some Godzilla stuff too. But this was like the coolest thing I'd seen so far on the site. But it was only like $45.
Okay, so I guess.
Oh, well, I hope you bought it.
Been thinking about it.
It looks nice. I mean, it's in a museum setting with the red carpet and everything. It's like, hey, I mean, out of its element, why not? You know.
That is pretty sweet.
Starting with Anthony, 2 questions. First one: does this movie deserve a remake? Secondly, give me your final thoughts and your ratings for The Relic.
I think it deserves more love, but as far as remaking it, I don't want to see it remade because they're just not going to do it as good as it is. And there's like so much about this film I love to just the way films looked in the mid to late 90s, that film stock this uses that just has that down home cozy feel to me that even those things would be lost in translation if they were to remake it. So I personally wouldn't want to see it remade, but if it was, I'm not gonna freak out either, because even if they do remake it, it's not like they're gonna come to my house and take this away.
Right, there you go.
And as far as a rating goes, like I said, I rented this all the time. I loved that back in the day. I loved it. Still love it now. So through the combination of the quality and the just pure nostalgia I have for this movie, I'm going to go 10 out of 10.
Okay. Big Bad Wolf, this was your first time. Again, would you like to see a remake or not? And give me your final thoughts and ratings.
Hold on. So what happened was my stupid headphones, somebody turned the volume down so I couldn't hear anyone.
Okay.
So let me know, would you like to see a reboot or remake? Give me your final thoughts and give me your rating for this.
So I will say, I'll be on the mind of Anthony. I feel like if it got remade, I'm not going to freak out or get mad, but I feel like this film needs to be left alone because Hollywood has not had a good reputation of the remakes of classic films nowadays. They find some way to muck it up, as we like to say.
Yeah.
Now, my final thoughts is the atmosphere felt a lot like it. I like to say either Alien or Aliens, without those unknown creatures moving around. You couldn't tell where it was. So it just gave you that stress of no matter where you're going in a museum, it is somewhere hiding. You just can't see it. Mm-hmm. And it gave you that, as well as the feeling of Jaws, because we had the mayor that wouldn't close the Gaza. And everybody's like, oh, we can't wait to go in, get the rewards and stuff like that. You just know it's going to be a massacre the moment everyone's coming in. So it just leaves you all that stress, as well as who's going to get killed first, like what happens in Jaws. Like what happens in the original beach scene in Jaws, where it has you painted different people making you wonder who the heck is going to die when the person's actually right in front of you. You just don't know it.
Yeah, which
And-
brings me to a question real quick, is I kind of forget. There was 2 kids. They were hiding inside the museum. Whatever fucking happened to them? I don't even remember.
They encountered the guy who they thought was responsible for the killings and just got brought home from the police. But even that, let's just point out the absurdity about the kids staying in the museum and it's late at night. But if we call the cops, our parents are going to know we skipped school. I'm like, after your bedtime, I think they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they know you're not home.
The fact that they've not returned, it's like midnight. See, it was midnight. Yeah, I'm frightened to go get the cops because mom and dad's going to miss that I'm not home. But it's past, say, midnight and, like, you're still not home. Your parents wouldn't know or wouldn't be ringing the cops themselves.
Right.
Honestly, personally, I think I'd rather, at that age, I would have rather dealt with the creature than my mom being mad at me.
Yes.
It'd at least be quick.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the other thing too, is it made you think the kids were going to get it at that one scene after the security guard got it. At one point, you see the kids going up the stairs, and you hear the creature, and you're like, "Oh, they're." I'm like, "Oh, they are really
That would have
showing
been
no one's off
to
limits."
kill the kids.
Oh yeah.
Look, check out the remake of The Blob, 1988. There's a moment where that kind of moment happens. So
Because I was thinking, oh crap, nothing's off limits in this film. Because I was expecting the kids to get got, and I'm like, oh, this is already off to.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine the Carthaga just coming up and taking one of the kids and going whoosh, kind of like an infant baby? Har, 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 har.
yeah, I mean, think about it. Look, you mentioned Mimic, Anubis, because there's some kids that get killed in that one, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, like what happened in Alligator when the kids poached a little pool and the kid gets killed.
See?
Yeah.
So what was your rating for Relic, Big Bad Wolf?
I would give Relic a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. Jedi, same questions to you, sir.
Remakes. At this point in time, you know, I'm too old to be trying to say anything about it because Hollywood's going to be Hollywood. They're going to do whatever the hell they want to. So if they decide to make a remake of this, so be it. You know, I mean, this movie's it'll be 30 years old next year. So, hey, I mean, they say like, yeah, you know, let's try it again. Let's see if we can. Because believe it or not, this film was a box office failure. It was a $60 million budget film, and it failed at the box office tremendously. It grossed less than what it got. And it was produced by, believe it, when you said Aliens, Lone Wolf, Big Bad. It was produced by Gala Hurd, who produced Aliens, you know, which is, you can see a lot of that element in there in this film.
Yeah, there's so much familiarity compared to both films. Even the original Alien, there's so much familiarity, especially with the paranoia that came with that.
Honestly, I think had they did not release this film at the beginning of the year, it would have done a lot better. Like if this came out like April through say July, it would have done a lot better.
Yeah, probably so. I feel it would. But as far as the film itself, you know, it's one of those rare treasures that you know, as I've said before about some other films, you know, rarely gets talked about, and it's a shame because these are the films that you watch and you realize they inspired another generation and inspired some other films that came after it, you know. And it's sad that they don't get talked about. I mean, I wish they would, because they are the groundwork into give us what we got now. Unfortunately, the stuff we get now is a bunch of dog shit, you know. So I'm just saying that's what it is. And but as far as ratings go, I'm kind of like with Big Bad on this. I give it a 8.5. You know, and I mean it's a pretty decent film. You know, I mean it's got the scares, it's got the little action, it's got the mystery, and that's enough. You know, I mean it's, for me, aged very well in terms of that. It's not something that's overblown, but it's enough for someone to watch who's either a horror buff, you know, sci-fi buff, or whatever. You know, it's just there, and hopefully you get something out of it. You know.
And what makes it so unique too is the legacy that we won't see Hollywood ever be so creative with a creature design ever again. Because this creature is so immaculately created that we'll never see another creature created like that, anything similar to that Hollywood could ever do. Now, indie studios, we may see something from them, but Hollywood itself, I would not hold a candle to Hollywood to make it something like this ever again.
And the fact that it was designed to feel like a real creature, and that you could see the elements of the different DNA that made it up in the creature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the main body definitely tiger and Komodo dragon.
Yes,
and then how it crawled definitely.
It almost has like a Clash of the Titans Kraken feel to it.
I've noticed that
definitely
too.
The facial features, definitely the face itself. Yeah, the mandibles almost make it look like the tentacles that was on the Kraken's face almost, or that big chin the Kraken has.
Yeah.
And I like that, like, they clearly have the function that's what it grabs onto the head with.
Yeah.
Yes. As for me, reboots, reimaginings, like most of the guys have said, it's Hollywood, isn't it? So if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it. But I would want a director who knows the material, who I would like to, it's based on a book series. I would like them to look deeper into the book and add more elements from the book to screen with it. If someone were to make it, I would want it to be somebody like Guillermo del Toro or Peter Jackson, because I know for a fact, yes, I know they would use CGI, but they'd hopefully use a bit of puppetmation or, animatronics along the way. So time will tell. There's a lot of films we've covered, and then a week after we've covered them on either my show, your show, or any of the guys' show, and lo and behold, a week after we've reviewed them, bang, it's announced they're doing a sequel or a remake of that particular film we've covered. As for the film itself, I really enjoy it. It's a fun ride. It came out at a great time where science fiction and science fiction horror creature features became popular again. Me and Anthony and the guys are talking off screen earlier, and what I said is back in the 80s, it was the era of creature features. So you had Jaws starting it off in 1975. Then you had Orca, then you had Grizzly, and you had all of those movies, Alligator. And then it kind of phased out, and then we get to the early 90s or the mid 90s, like you say, from 1993 probably onwards, you had all these different scientific mutated creature features. Like you say, you had Mimic, you had the Relic, you had Species, and even you could even see what gaslit all that and start that up was The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. That kind of that kind of brought this all to being a popular thing to make these scientific creature feature films. So I love the concept of the movie. I think it's very intelligent. I love the cinematography of the movie. I love how, like you said, the director, he was also a photographer and he knew how to do lighting. It's great how you see the museum through the day, like a normal museum. Then at night time it becomes this horror show. Fantastically well done. And if I'm going to rate this film, because I really like it, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
And I just want to add one more thing before we finish up. It's Kevin brings up a very good point about it's everything is pretty much CG nowadays, although there are exceptions like the recently Project Hail Mary, which combine practical effects with CG. This film is no different. It actually combines CG with practical effects, which was kind of funny because Stan Winston was the designer for this creature, so he built a full-size creature here. But when it's moving, it is CG. But put those
the Mandalorian as well, the Mandalorian Grogu.
Yes,
Every alien in that film is CGI except Grogu and them little engineers. Aliens, they're all puppets. Everything else was CGI.
And like Kevin said with the museum, how it has two different feels. There's a lot of films where the location feels like a character. This one, I think it's unique because the museum feels like two different characters. It's one character at the day and a completely different character at night.
Yeah.
And I stick to me feelings that the museum from light to day feel in effect in this film inspired Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom, because at the beginning of that movie you're introduced to obviously the old man, the partner of John Hammond, and his granddaughter, and they're in the same house, the same like mansion, and it feels like just a nice oldie worldy mansion. And then when it gets to the bit where they do, the auction to all those people under the facility, and it gets dark, it's now a nighttime scene, and then there's a thunderstorm, and then you see all the skeletons of the Triceratops and T-Rex and like all the landmarks, and it turns into a different feel. And then obviously when the Indoraptor escaped and's running around the building, running around the mansion, it became like a haunted house / dark horror movie type feel compared to earlier on in the film. And I generally feel the Relic had some sort of influence on that.
Yeah. As for me, I agree with most of you. I don't think it really needs a remake or reboot. However, I kind of agree with Kevin. I would actually not be opposed to a prequel. I'd really like to see the origins of this, even if it's kept in like a jungle or something like that through the tribes. Like, I don't mind going through that lens. As long as they stay true to the same aesthetic that we got with this film. I don't want them to get lazy with it. Like, if you're going to do a prequel or sequel, go ahead.
So what I was going to say, since you brought it up, sequel, I was reading up about what the sequel's about, and I think you would really like this. It's set in New York City, and it's where there's like a few of the characters from the first film or the first book return, and they now start hunting a similar creature, but underground in New York City, like through tunnels,
subway and stuff like that.
Yeah, the book series follows Tom Sizemore's character, and from what I understand, he's like a detective, but he goes after like supernatural type cases.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so obviously this movie, to me, again, you guys made a lot of great points. I agree with this movie is very original for itself. Like, it's just, if I were to, someone came and say, well, can you give me some good ideas for horror movies to check out? This would be one of them, because it's very original in its concept. It's very smart, as Kevin said. The creature design is amazing. The balance between CGI and practical effects, like Walter said, is the same way. It's very good. We see that with some of the films that we see now. Not a lot of them, but we see occasionally where they do mix it very well. And that's what you want, especially as technology gets better. As far as like my rating, I'm going to be really close to both Kevin and Anthony. I'm going to give it a 9.5. I can watch this at any time. I don't watch it that often, but when it comes on, I just sit down and enjoy the shit out of it, because I really like this film a lot. I liked it back then. Again, that SWAT scene that Jedi brought up, I laugh at it now. Like, the guy that acted that black role, the black SWAT guy, he did a really nice job. You don't really think about it at the time, but he did a really good job showing you the fear that he was having.
Yeah.
He wanted nothing more to get the fuck out of there as fast as
He was like, oh, hell no, pull me up.
He's screaming, man. Like, I get it. Like, he's seeing this thing crawl up the fucking wall, and he's like, I gotta get out. He's like, pull me the fuck up.
A lesser actor would have ruined that scene by overacting.
I think so, yeah.
Right. And sometimes it's just the small things that really like sets it apart. So everything clicked with this movie, with the acting, the script, the directing, with the lighting choice. We said, you guys have mentioned it so many times, and it didn't really dawn on me until you really started talking about it, just how different it is during the day versus night scenes. And it really is so effective. Even that core security guy, he's in the bathroom in the middle of the night on his shift, smoking a joint, and it still seems fucking creepy before even anything happens to him. Like I'm just sitting there going, I got like this dread just sitting there.
Yeah, same here. I'm like, something's about to happen. Either he's going to get caught smoking a joint by someone.
Like, I don't know if you have one where you guys are, but I've got quite a few where I live. Like, see, on a hot, warm, sunny day, you walk past an old derelict, say, church, and you see that the sun shine through, like, you know, the plain glass windows, and it looks very gothic, but it looks pleasant and nice with the greenery and all that. Then 5 or 6 hours later, you walk past the same church and it's pitch black and it's totally in darkness, and it just looks like it's been torn from fucking hell, and it's in your neighborhood because all the trees are now covered in darkness. You see the gravestones. It's a total different feel, and it just shows you what it just a minute of change of light or a certain angle can make all the difference and change the atmosphere and the tone of a movie. Bang, like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sorry about
that.
No,
go ahead.
It's like where I used to live in my hometown. I used to live pretty much within the back roads in the country. It's still in session, a small little white Methodist church that goes right at the end of this paved road before you turn on too many dirt roads to get to my place. I will say it's got that same aesthetic too, where again it's just a very small building, but when you go past it at night, there's something sketchy about that white church.
Oh yeah, I mean we have roads out here because we have a lot of like just back roads and cornfields and stuff like that. During the day, not issues, but you try those things without any lights out there, dark as hell.
You just said cornfields. That's right there, red flag all the same. Right?
So, Mr. Lambert, do you have a pick for next month at all?
Oh yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
I just finished this the other day and had fun with it because I hadn't seen it for years. And we're going to be talking about a Sylvester Stallone film. We're going to go back to 1995 and we're going to be talking about his version of Judge Dredd.
Oh
boy, you're going to have some fun with that one.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I hadn't seen it for years and I thought it came up like on one of the movie channels and I thought, I'm going to, I put like the reminder button on and then it popped up and I watched it and I had a good laugh. For that, we had a good laugh with that one.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and also give us what's coming up on your channel, Mr. Lambert.
So tomorrow night, you, my amazing co-host, will be joining me again at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. UK time for the movie special of the month, and we will be talking about the 4 Hellboy movies. So we'll be talking about them, we'll be giving our rankings on them, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then after that, we have on the 5th of June, which will be the next, we're doing the next retro classic movie show, which I think it was The Abyss that we were doing. Yes, we're going to be doing The Abyss. And after that, on the 12th, it's the next Kaiju Connections, and it's going to be Kronos, which I know Jedi's going to be looking forward to with that one.
Right.
And then it's on the schedule, it may change. On the 18th of June, we're going to be doing the next Into the Darkness franchise discussion, and that's going to be the Hatchet films. So that's just a little bit of things that's coming to the entertainment headquarters next month.
Nice. Jedi.
Well, for me, tomorrow I'll be hooking up with a certain individual, and we're going to be discussing Gamera versus Baragon. And full discussion, I don't know how long it's going to be. It's just going to be a recording, but we're going to be discussing that. And next week, hopefully I will be joining with you and Kevin Lambert talking about The Abyss, because that is by far my favorite of James Cameron's films. I mean, it's just something about it being an late 80s film that, I don't know, just something that that's his opus magnus. It's like that's pure gold, but everything else is like it's okay. But this one was definitely his top. And then that Saturday on the 6th, starting a new month, I will be doing the top 10 favorite kaiju sound effects, or basically roars. And I'm supposed to be joining with Mr. Mark Justice and I think another gentleman joining me. Hopefully, someone else can join me if they want to, because, like I say, it's going to be something fun, something different. And that, let me see, what's that? Yes, that following day, that Sunday, Mr. Lambert again, we will be discussing a film that I feel needs to be talked about, but it doesn't get talked about as much. Like this film here, it doesn't get talked about that much. Executive Decision, another classic action film, and it's more adventure than action film, and it stars Kurt Russell and aforementioned Steven Seagal, but we won't say what happens to him in there because he's in the film, but this is one of his best roles, I feel, and you'll find out.
Okay. I do need to mention one more thing I forgot to mention, because I do think this is going to be a good one. So this month's film special is the Hellboy series, but next month on the 19th, which is a Friday, I'm going to be doing the Steven Spielberg special, where a group of us guys, anyone here is welcome to join, where we're going to be talking about his career, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everybody involved has to have their top 5 Steven Spielberg films, and hopefully, you never know, Disclosure Day might make our list, since that comes out the Friday before. So everyone, if they want, has a week to, you know, hopefully get to the theatres to see it before we do the stream the following week.
Big Bad Wolf, what do you got coming up, sir?
So tomorrow I'll be continuing more of my Man-Eater playthrough of the game Man-Eater where you play as a shark, where my special guest would be the professor himself. Well, we'll pretty much be shooting the crap and just chatting and hanging out. It'll be live, and then I'll also be doing more editing on my Escape the Backrooms gameplay, which will come out every Tuesday at 4 p.m. And then I'll be continuing more and doing my own little cosmic horror story series I'm doing for a certain kaiju I created, which I've been posting to the Tales from the Creeps Reddit subpost in hopes that a YouTuber reads it online. So I just did part 2, and I think I'm naming part 2 When the Sea Goes Quiet, whereas part 1 was When Stars Drown.
Okay. Very nice. Anthony Jordan.
Well, tomorrow I will be joining. I got to watch the movie tomorrow first, but TJ Anubis and Walter for the discussion with Olvin for Cat's Eye. And I plan on doing with Kevin the Abyss. I'm definitely going to make the darkness. And as for my channel, I got my Godzilla 1985 review coming out very soon. I plan on watching it this Sunday for the review.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice. So
Very
yeah,
nice.
as Anthony mentioned, tomorrow, and of course Kevin, I've got the Hellboy discussion with Kevin, and then later in the evening I'll be with Anthony and Walter again for Silver Screen Savants doing Cat's Eye. Just watched that again last night. I'll probably mention it again tomorrow, man. That ending scene with the cat on Drew Barrymore makes me tear up every single fucking time. It's so emotional for me. But yeah, so outside that, then Sunday, Neko and I are going to be doing our top rock and metal albums of May, and we'll be putting that up there. And I have decided now what my next Schools of Midnight will be for next month with Mr. Jordan here, my co-host of that. And good for Kevin to give me the idea. We're going to be revisiting the creature feature from the 70s called Tentacles. So
Yes.
we're going to have some fun with that one because I haven't done a review on that before. So,
I've never seen that before.
Is someone based off of the novel by the same author who did Creature?
No.
Oh,
No,
No, it's an Italian creature.
So he did Jaws and Creature, and
Yeah.
so, but Creature's a different film altogether. But he did do. I think he might have done like a squid movie. I'm not sure. I don't know. But
I remember. Can anyone remember that it was a mini series about the giant squid?
The Beast.
It's called The Beast.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it's
Well,
called.
yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that.
The book is just called Beast.
Yeah. But no, we're just doing the 1977 film, I think, called Tentacles. It was a big thing, like as Kevin said about Jaws and Orca and all that stuff back then. So I haven't done a review for that ever, and I want to do it with Anthony. So, and I'm glad Anthony hasn't seen it because I'm going to be curious what he feels about it.
Cool.
But yeah, so guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it so much. It was a great discussion, great movie, great thoughts, and great points that you all made on here. Please go like and subscribe to all the channels of these guys. Such great content. They're so awesome. Give us some your opinions down in the comment section. Let us know how you felt about the film. Do you feel like us that it's underrated, deserves a little more credit? Let us know. Like and subscribe. And thank you all again for supporting the Meltdown Radio podcast. And we'll see you next time. Take care.